Oh, look, I'm hearing myself. Am I on television, am I?
You are. You're on the camera, Tim.
Yeah.
Here we are. Oh, do you have that? What is that bottle over here? Sorry, pardon me. Welcome to this is the Tim and Lewis show. We're back. Bing, bing. We're in the studio here. We're having some beers.
Non-alcoholic, of course.
Non-alcoholic.
We don't drink. We don't condone drinking.
Yeah, we do. We love drinking. We love drinking too.
As
I'm
usual.
like, who's listening to my podcast? That's like, if I said something on the podcast that in 5 years the immigration department says, well, Mr. Zezaran, you need to renew your visa. However, we listened to episode 83 back in 2020, and at the 56th minute mark, you talked about drug use. This is problem. I'll be like,
you never fucking know though. You never know.
I'll be like, wow, you listen to my podcast, bros? That's great. I'll be like high-fiving them, asking for feedback.
As they kick you out the country.
Yeah, can you like and subscribe? What did you think? Can you rate me on iTunes?
Yeah.
You guys clearly listened.
Have you ever thought of like asking beer companies to sponsor you or give you money or give you free shit because of the podcast? Have you ever like...
Not from the podcast. Well, you know, we had the Comedy Estonia beers.
Oh yeah,
years
that's
ago.
right. Lehe, yeah.
Lehe. Hey, you know, actually, speaking of that, I was at this new bar that's near where I used to live. It's called Karakter Bar.
Oh, that's right. You were telling me about this place. Yeah.
Karakter Bar. Very small, very old Merku size sort of thing. It's in, I don't even know where this, you say, near the friggin...
Juhkentali, isn't it?
Juhkentali, near where there's the transfer wires and the bolt office, and there's a Rimi and there's an Uskas Utoskeskus, and not far from the center, down the street from Cosmos. Mm-hmm. It's just down there. Super cool place. And the dudes got fucking whatever, Heckle beer. Remember that was the last beer we had.
Is it drinkable still?
No, it's new.
New?
They're still making it.
Fucking...
I know.
Where's the fucking money?
Where's my cut? Where's my cut? Yeah, so lehe, I guess, I don't know, I guess it's a reasonable recipe because that's the recipe that James Ramsden came up with because he's a master brewer and it was partly his kind of influence and I guess they thought it was a good enough beer. Yeah, I drank it on tap.
On tap?
Night. Yeah, it was kegs of it.
I'm gonna have to investigate this, Lewis.
Yeah, I know.
They used to sell it in Paide Maxi Market, but I bought all of it. So.
Oh, thank you for supporting the cause.
I thought I was going to see a bit of money, but
there's nothing like that around here. No, business is business, my friend.
Business,
you know,
baby.
that's the motto, baby. That's what everyone's talking about. Business is business.
That's it.
Yeah. So nothing in the a few bars I've heard. Like occasionally I hear it around the place that
on tap is surprising though. That's
because he just had it written on the chalkboard, and I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's your beer, man." And I'm like, "Oh shit."
And are they still selling it as Comedy Estonia?
No,
Heckle?
It's just called Heckle.
Just called Heckle.
But it's nice they kept the name. I mean, they could have just Lehe could have just rebranded it, put whatever label on it, and kept if they like the formula. But yeah, they wanted to keep the Heckle. So
Lehe, get in contact and
right on.
Give us a few kegs and sort us out. You know.
I thought, we used to, maybe we should sell the beers on the web shop because we used to do that. We used to buy the beers and then sell them at the show. But that just, it was cool as shit, but just got too much work. It was cool as shit to have your own show, have your own beer, create that whole experience. But Jesus, what a lot of work that was to get the beer into the venues, buy the beer. We had to buy the beer, then sell the beer.
Drink the beer.
Oh my God, drink the fucking beer. So, yeah.
How are you doing anyway?
Whoa, good, man, good.
It's been a long time since we did one of these.
Yeah. You were away. You were in Ireland or something.
I was away. I came back. I had to do the quarantine here.
Yeah, in Paide.
In Paide, yeah. I came back just before because on September 1st, they allow you to take a test. Mm-hmm. And if you're negative, then you can just go about your business. But I came back the week before that. So I had to do the mandatory 2 weeks.
Dang, okay. Well, it's not too hard for you.
I stuck to it. I did. I stuck to it for the most part. I stayed around and didn't interact with people.
That's good.
I'm sure that's me anyway.
But then, did Pia also? How does that work?
We both just had to stay put for 2 weeks. You know?
Jesus,
it wasn't too bad. 2 weeks is nothing. Like 2 weeks is fucking. But it was 2 weeks in Ireland quarantining, and then 2 weeks.
It's a lot of quarantining.
So it was a month of doing fuck all, and it was fucking fantastic. It was fantastic. Because I had all these plans when I went back to Ireland. I was going to rent a car, drive up the west coast of Ireland. There's a road called the Wild Atlantic Way, which goes around the west coast. Just do all of that. Fucking drinking in the pubs every night, fucking listening to music, all this shit. And I get back, and the week before I land, They implement new lockdown restrictions. They cancel the opening of the pubs. They recommend that if you're living with someone who's cocooning, which is someone who's like vulnerable, which my mother is, that you don't go anywhere. So I just sat in a room for 2 weeks and played video games. That was it.
Could have done that in Paide.
I could have, yeah.
You didn't have to go back.
But the internet was bad though. That's the thing. It's tough without the internet.
It's not even good Estonian internet over there. Oh,
shit,
right.
Irish mountain internet. So it was rough, but sure, fuck it. I'm here now. You know.
Yeah, so how was it now? We talked a bit about the Irish pub situation, and there was that thing where if they sold some food, then they could sell you beers. Is that still... What was going on with that? Is that still happening?
You'd expect that shit here because it's this super structured, you know, autistic kind of thing, you know? You had to... First of all, there's two types of pubs in Ireland. There's wet pubs and dry pubs, right? A wet pub is a pub that doesn't sell food at all. It's just a pub. And a dry pub is like a pub/restaurant. So dry pubs were allowed to open if you had to buy a meal worth at least €9. You could only be in there for 107 minutes, which is 107 minutes. There'd be a guy with a clipboard, like taking numbers and shit, like telling people, you know, coming up to you after like 100 minutes saying, "Oh, you gotta fucking finish that up now and leave because your time's almost up now." And so yeah, no, they just they fucked it entirely. So
it seems crazy. It seems. I mean, with all things COVID, it seems so arbitrary.
Yeah, but I guess, you know, I mean, Ireland, population-wise, we have a lot of old people, so we have to kind of be more wary. Because that's why the death rate in Italy was so high, because there was so many old people there.
Right. How is Ireland faring in general right now?
Right now, not good. Like, when I was there, we had the same rate of cases we have here in Estonia now, so 20, 30 a day maybe. Now it's up to 200-300 a day.
Dang.
And still, like I said to you when we did the podcast months ago, no one gives a shit. No one cares. Like, I drove down. I didn't tell my parents I was coming home, by the way. I told nobody I was coming home. I just arrived down at 8 o'clock in the evening after flying into Dublin, renting a car and driving down. And it was my mother's birthday 2 days before my flight. So I called her and wished her happy birthday, and she was like, "Oh, we'll see you when you come home, whenever that is." I'm like, "Yeah, Mom, it'll be. I might miss Christmas, Mom." You know? And then I show up 2 days later and give him a heart attack. So, but yeah, no, it was odd, very odd.
It is looking like it could happen now. Definitely for me, and maybe even for you, that we got to spend Christmas in this town.
Yeah,
there'll be no
for the first time ever for me.
Yeah, first time ever.
Okay, yeah. Because Christmas for me, is a fucking pilgrimage, you know? There's no direct flights from Estonia to Ireland. So I have to go some roundabout way through London, deal with the squalor of fucking Stansted Airport in December. Just bumping elbows with people. Whole families blocking the fucking...
And the English.
The dirty fucking English. But you got to deal with that. It's like a 3-hour flight. The flights are at ridiculous times. They're 6 o'clock in the morning. And then I got to fly from London to Dublin, pick up a car, take a train all the way down to Kerry. I'm literally going from the east coast of the European Union to the exact like furthest western point of the European Union. So every year it became like, it did feel like a pilgrimage type of thing. And I would look forward to it every year. And even though when you're in the middle of it, you're like, I'm fucking staying in Estonia next year. I'm sick of this shit. It's worth it when you get home.
Why? Why? How come?
Well, do you like Christmas? I don't think you do. You don't seem like a person
maybe
who likes
not
Christmas.
enough. Maybe not as much as you. Again, coming from slightly disconnected family, kind of away, and then also remember Christmas for us is like hot. Like there's no like,
true, that's
there's
right.
the
That's
snow
right.
and the darkness. No, we it's fucking 40 degrees outside. We're going to the beach. It's hot as fuck.
Fair enough. Yeah, I know. I didn't think about that actually. Yeah.
So maybe it's not the sentimental.
But for me, it's just the general warmth of the whole fucking 2 weeks I go home. You know, everyone's back. Everyone, because you know Irish people were scattered fucking everywhere. Everyone I went to school with are Australia or America, Canada or fucking Estonia, where I fucking ended up. And everyone comes back together and we all hang out in the pubs and we go on the piss and everyone's nice and friendly and kind. People have patience. with each other.
At least for that time, yeah.
Well, then Christmas Eve hits and it's fucking all bets are off. But it's just nice and warm and comfy, and like every single year we have a tradition where the whole family, me, my mother, my father, my brother, we meet up for breakfast on Christmas Eve morning after I had fucking 50 pints the night before, and we just sit down as a family and have breakfast, go home. My brother starts cooking. The following day we all wake up, open presents, hugs, kisses. Brother's cooking the whole day. The house smells full of food. My aunt turns up with the turkey. There's pageantry to it, you know. There's something just whimsical about it that I love. But I do think this will be the first year where I don't go back.
It's going to be hard. I mean, unless it goes down, how's that going to be? Probably not, right? We're probably going to be. I reckon we're probably going to be fine, but you're going to have to stay in your country, right? Stay in your.
I mean, look at today there were 358 cases in Ireland. Our infection rate is up to 50 now, I think.
Because that's like, that's much higher than Estonia based off the population.
The threshold for the quarantine is 16 per 100,000. We're up to in the 50s now.
Yeah, I've heard they're trying to make it 25 now. That's what I've heard. They're trying to, because they've kind of worked out if they push it up to 25, then Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania can be cool, Finland can be cool, and they go like, well, you got these 4 countries working together, that'll be all right.
How the fuck have Latvia gotten away with it?
No idea. I do know that working with Comedy Latvia crew for like during lockdown and afterwards, their government was so much harder. Like, I know I've told this story before, that like they had like some like fair or festival thing in whatever the Riga, and the police were going like, hey, you two, don't stand so close. Like, that's unimaginable.
Just two people.
Just like there's some people hanging around, right? But the police would actively be like, no, you don't stand so closely together.
Fucking hell.
I can't imagine that happening here, that some police are actually like, no, you stand here, you stand here. But that's just as an example, right?
Yeah.
Just as an example to the differing level that the government took it in Latvia. So unless that's what's fucking paying off now.
You'd see police going around, but they'd never fucking break people
Right,
up.
nothing like that. You know, like, hey, you fucking, no.
Wow, interesting, because their rate is down, like, it's like 3 points.
It's the lowest in besides the Vatican, so we know the Pope doesn't have it. Cyprus, which we're going to get to.
They all have that.
That's it.
They might not have COVID in the Vatican. They got fucking something going on
they
down there.
They got 12-year-old semen on the fucking robes, but they haven't got COVID.
He said it, not me. I'm from a Catholic country. I got to watch my P's and Q's here.
If you're in the Vatican, you watch your P's.
But yeah, I mean, Finland as well is fairly low as far as I know.
Lower, they're about 8. Because me and Silla have an event to host in Finland in end of October.
Really?
A conference, and they wanted a guy and a girl to host it. And they said, you know any women? And I was like, got this Silla Kadri chick. And they watched some of the perfect example. They watched one of the live streams. And I said, look, you know, I know you're a professional conference, but look, I'm about to do this live stream with this Silla Kadri chick. We're going to drink wine and talk about dating. And they listened and they really liked it. So they hired both of us to come and host their conference.
She's got a Finnish vibe to her anyway.
She worked in Finland for a while. Yeah, not many, but a bunch of years. She worked in the Vapiano in Helsinki. And so she's well acquainted with Finnish culture and the fine ways of the Finnish people.
The restaurant she used to manage in Rotterdam is gone now. It's replaced by something else.
Something else.
What are they doing to Rotterdam?
Was it Taste of Asia?
Taste of Asia, yeah. Now it's Asian street food or something. I don't like what they did with Rotterdam.
How so? Why
I was talking to Tauri about this last night because we went to see Tenet, so we had to walk right through. And he was loving it. He was like, oh, it looks nice, you know. I'm like, it's just soulless. There's something fucking... It's the same what they're doing up there now in Pelgulin, or I don't know, fucking what's it called? Noblesner. That whole area.
It's for rich people.
They're just turning it into fucking like suburban Stockholm, and I don't like it.
Yeah, because it's like I can
change.
I can get an apartment and I can watch my yacht and
but the architecture
pretend that I have a yacht.
Shite and like I like what they did with Teleskivi. They just took these old industrial buildings, they renovated the inside. That's it. They fucking kept.
But there's rich people now, Tim. That's what we found out. We did that show I was telling you before at Petri, and respect to the people with the show Petri Kofik on last Saturday, and like respect to those people on. But you could definitely see there was a higher standard of individual there who was attending that show in Paide. Because we do shows outside of Tallinn, thinking like people drive. We used to do the show in Lasnamäe, and we understood people were driving. You know, they had nothing to do on wherever Thursday, and so they would just drive to wherever the show might be, and that was awesome. And we kind of thought maybe that might happen in Paide if we have a place, you know, on a good road, and there's some parking, and who knows who'll come. But it was rich Paide people who came to that show. There was a Porsche parked right out the front. You see the guy backing you, just fucking came in, and you're like, oh, okay. And that, like, really good crowd. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying bad of these people at all.
Yeah.
But
I had no idea Paide even existed. For me, Paide
I think that's
was
what they want, yeah.
the Selver, and that's it.
Isn't it? I was actually joking about this on stage. Like, all we know, Paide pizza.
Yeah.
That's all you know. Is it the home? It's like the Italy of Tallinn.
Exactly,
Hey, I come from a Paide.
But then one time I was going to go visit Caleb Brunick, ladies and gentlemen, at his office where he works now. And I took a wrong turn and ended up in Paide
proper Paide
town.
Proper, yeah.
I'm like, oh man, all these brand new fucking houses and apartment buildings and shit. And I was like, whew, I had no idea any of this shit was here.
Yeah, I guess they kind of fly under the surface, especially, you know, because I'm a bit as well like, oh, I want to live in VMC. Like, really? Who gives a shit? Like, really? You just gotta drive all the way
fucking live
there?
in Paide. You're gonna be closer to Tallinn when the new road
That's
opens.
what we've heard. So that was the slogan that you've heard. What was the slogan, the way they pitched it to you? Tim Reedy, resident of Paide.
They came to my apartment and they said, Mr. Reedy, would you give us another shot, please? Please give us another shot. The VMC City Council came down. I was like, right. Or not the Paide City Council. And they were like, all right, the new billboard. You see it around town now. I even see it fed to me on Facebook ads. Fucking Zuckerberg is behind this shit as well.
And he knows.
But it just says in Estonian, like, because I'm learning Estonian now, Lewis.
Oh, you're so cultural.
Move to Paide. You're going to be closer to Tallinn than if you lived in VMC. Roughly, that's what they're going to say. They're suggesting that when the new road is finished, which they're starting to work on now, they just finished the section from...
Is that open?
Yeah, it's open, yeah.
Oh, shit, I got to
They just... Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh, we're going to Tartu tomorrow.
There's no cops or speed cameras. So you can just... Not that I would ever do this, but you could go like 100... If you wanted to, you can go like 190.
Tremendous.
I wouldn't recommend
Theoretically.
Allegedly.
We're going to Tartu tomorrow. That's great. I'm going to do
it's
that.
fan-fucking-tastic. It takes you from... Do you remember you turn off at Kosa?
Yeah.
You go right through Kosa all the way down to Vubu, which is this like village in the middle of nowhere. And now they're starting the next phase, which will go from Vubu all the way to Mao, which is right next to Paide. So I'm going to be fucking 35 minutes away from you. You can't get away from me anymore.
Yeah. Why are they fucking around with this marketing? Their marketing message is like, okay.
Oh, there, I'm blind.
Their marketing message is, come to Paide. We're closer than VMC. Just fucking say it. Just be like, live in Paide, there's less cunts. Like, just...
Well.
Just why be more straight with your marketing?
But I guess it's also because the property prices are so low there compared to anywhere close to Tallinn. So it's going to be the next fucking commuter town, and I'll probably have to leave because
you can't deal with that kind
I'd
of
have to go to Põltsamaa. I'd have to go even further south.
At the fucking what's the pizza place you've got in Paide?
Pizza Kiosk.
Pizza Kiosk is going to be overflowing.
Oh yeah.
With all these VMC cunts.
Shout out to the women in Paide Pizza Kiosk. When I make my order there, there's no bullshit. Polon internet. There's none of that shit. They just hand me my pizza that I order online, and even the woman there, there's a blonde woman who works there. She speaks English. She's fantastic. So. Shout out to the women of Paide. Not Paide Pizza Kiosk in Paide.
Yeah, you're talking
they
about
look after me.
There.
Yeah.
And that's the only kind of chainy pizzeria thing in town?
We have a Hesburger now.
Oh. Where's the Hesburger?
Out by the ring road that takes you towards Paderno. Across the road from the Maxi Market that's there. They don't like me in there because when I make my order with the app, you're supposed to go to the intercom and say your order number. Okay. But I don't do that. So I just go to the window and like show my phone. And they try to explain like deli number and they're just fucking take it, fat man. Get out of here. Take your kebab burger and get the fuck out of here.
So that's it. We've got Pizza Kiosk in Paide. So this is the new advertisement, by the way. I'll do the voiceover. Fuck it. Work in Paide. And I'm not an airline pilot in this one. I'm a truck driver or something. Normalne.
Veo
auto driver person. Work in Paide.
Yeah,
and there's Tim. They're going to buy.
That's it, man.
So we got Pizza Kiosk. We've got
Hesburger.
Hesburger.
Crazy Tractor's open
Crazy
again.
Tractor. Okay, that's where you might. Oh, it's open again.
open
Maybe
again,
you want to
yeah,
get a
yeah.
schnitzel.
That's right.
Maybe a Justus Schnitzel.
Justus Schnitzel,
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
god, Justus Schnitzel. I couldn't believe that a Justus Schnitzel was just cheese fried. I went and bought one day, like years ago. Sander fucking kills himself laughing. I bought a Justus Schnitzel going, what is cheese? I thought it was just a schnitzel with cheese on top. Who would ever think to just fry a bit of cheese up? No, that's a Justus
Fucking
Schnitzel.
Estonians and their cheese. They love it. They put cheese in everything. They put cheese in their piffin. They put cheese in their fucking sausages. I don't like it. I love cheese, but I don't like putting cheese in stuff because it's that horrible processed shit as well. And I'm trying to be healthy over here.
Sure, I can see. Yeah. You're real fucking Anthony Bourdain going on over here. Okay.
That's right. Yeah. Are you implying that I'm going to hang myself in a hotel room in France? Is that what this is?
Is that how he
about?
did it? Hotel room in
did,
France?
yeah, he
Okay,
did, yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Well, you should hope to live such a good life as Anthony Bourdain.
Could you imagine?
Live hard, live good, and then go out with
Trying my best.
go out with
my
a
best.
hang, so to speak. Like, cool.
Yeah, I'll
Look,
try.
maybe it's not the worst.
Do you know what? I'll do it, Lewis. For
Hang
you.
yourself
For
in
you.
France.
Fuck it.
If you can
I'll
get
fucking do it,
if you
Lewis.
can get to France, hang yourself in France.
I have to quarantine for 2 weeks though before I do it.
So that's it in Paide. Crazy Tractor, Pizza Kiosk, Hesburger.
I think there's Nia Na as well, which is a small little cafe at the foot of where the castle is. And
Is that the one you were saying run by some foreigners or something?
yeah, I think they're Romanians who run it, but they fucking hell, you can get a haklia casta and potatoes for €1.80 there. And it's fucking good stuff.
Sure, it'll sort you out. Especially if you're hung. That's some good hangover food.
Oh yeah, haklia
That'll
casta.
sort you out. Yeah. Haklia Casta.
But other than that, I don't know. There's a restaurant somewhere, restaurant it's called,
Very inventive.
above the
Paide restaurant.
and that's it. That's
Not
it.
by one
yeah.
by Rainer. Rainer's probably got some gears.
I don't know. They sold the Vabalinamaya that we used to do shows there. They're redeveloping it into something. I don't know what they're putting there.
Okay.
Maybe a KFC. Could you imagine?
That would be great. There's no other KFC. Fuck you, Tartu. You don't
You
get
got
a
Christina
KFC.
Keskus Ulamista Paide.
Paide. Wabalina Maya.
Vabalinamaya.
It's very free to come and get your chicken. Kana Vaba Lina Maya Vaba Kana.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yes,
down.
Christmas this year we'll probably you're going to spend it here anyway, I assume.
Well, yeah. I mean, I can't go back to Australia, and it does seem realistically like I won't be able to get to Japan. As you know, I do love being in Japan. I have often, a few times, been there over Christmas and New Year.
They're very strict, aren't they, on the entry at the moment?
They are very strict right now. And I like to go there over Christmas and New Year because if I got nothing going on, the Japanese, they don't have the same Western rituals that we do. So they're basically open. Like Christmas and New Year, when nothing opens usually here, everything's open. Maybe they close for half a day on New Year's Day, and that's it.
Yeah.
So it's a really reasonable place to visit between Christmas and New Year. Everything's open, it's normal. But don't think I'll be visiting those secondhand retro games stores.
They'll always be there, Lewis.
I want it so bad. I love it so much. I love
Oh,
going
I could
there.
hear the emotion in your voice.
Oh, it
as
is.
well.
I love going
love
through
it
those
so
stores. Oh, for the love of God. Going from store to store, mapping it out, having a little route on my Google Maps. The sense of adventure that I get when I walk into the store for the first time. Who knows what could be in this store? What interesting find from the retro past will I discover here? And spending time going through it. But it's about the adventure that I have to travel around.
And did you have a plan to go again this year?
I'd happily go again.
Yeah.
Because even though I went in January or something, doesn't it for everybody? It feels like a million years since January. It feels like we've lived several years worth of life and effort.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to go. If they open the borders, probably the flights will be cheap. I would probably even go for a couple of weeks if I could. So first opportunity that I can, I think I definitely want to go back there for a couple of weeks.
Do you not miss any aspect of the lockdown, no? Do you not miss any little bit of it?
Absolutely. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
No pressure. Imagine that for time in your life. There's no... I don't mean to be condescending to other people who had genuine concerns about money
Of course.
and all of that, but just, in those moments, if you could abstract away and not thinking about your money and where you're going to fucking earn a living from, no pressure in that moment. We all have to stop. What an amazing kind of view on society.
And people were in Estonia anyway, in Ireland. Jesus Christ. There's some videos, Lewis. There was a bar in Dublin city centre called Berlin Bar, where there were lads dancing on the bar while the barman poured Jack Daniels straight into their throat. At the height of the lockdown. And I think to Estonia, where fucking people, fair play to them, they listened to their government, they stayed at home. I would often drive up to Tallinn and just fucking drive around the old town. Not a soul around. Nice. You know, it was just fucking nice. And also, like, a lot of the newer comedians, I've been around for years, but a lot of the newer lads, they all came together during the lockdown.
Okay, yep.
Like Tauri and James, they got their own podcast now. Eric, Tombet, we all just started hanging out more. Maybe we should have been socially distancing, but people just kind of came together more, and it was nice, and it was there was.
And maybe that's possible in a small country like this. You know, like that's.
I mean, I was pouring Jack Daniels into Caleb's mouth,
right? Sure,
on the kitchen table. So, but no, there was just something nice about it. I don't want to. I don't think there will be another lockdown. By the way,
I don't think so.
Because in Ireland, the government published this living with COVID plan. So, going forward, the plan is we're just gonna have to live with this shit. No more lockdowns.
It's gonna be. You can't really lock them. No. It would have to be intense. And in a moment, for the lockdown to come back again.
They locked down Dublin, though, which, fuck you, Dublin.
A little bit of regional island thing coming in here. Look at this guy.
Because the numbers were skewed for months because Dublin was just full of fucking loothers, full of scummers going around the place, spitting in each other's mouths and shit. This was happening. Like, there were gangs of kids going around North Dublin, spitting on police and shit like that. And now
what is
Dublin,
this fucking ruthless young people when
shit
this,
parenting, bad parenting.
Bad parenting.
Yeah. Bad parenting is the root of all evil in the world, in my opinion. But yeah, so now Dublin's like fully locked down again, and Kerry's not.
But so we made these plans, or you came up with this idea to go. That you and I, so there's Tim and I have made a flight booking that we're going to go to Cyprus in January.
And it cost nothing either. It was a free flight.
Yeah. Well, you already had to pay. You had the Ryanair credits.
In my mind, it's free.
Everything's free in your mind. Okay?
I know. But basically what happened was there's a website called vm.aa.
Okay.
And it gives you the list of countries.
Yeah. I will look at it every week.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was looking through and I saw Finland is not locked down. I'm not going to Finland.
Fuck that place.
Latvia. Cyprus. Hey-ho! Let's go to fucking Cyprus.
Because it was that or the Vatican. And you're like, well, okay, another 12-year-old gets to get touched. So,
I'm too old for the Vatican now. You know, I'd have no in there. I'd have no clout around town.
Bring the chubby kid over here.
But so I looked at Cyprus. I thought, look, fuck it. In the middle of winter, in January, when we're all miserable and depressed and it's dark and fucking cold.
Where's the bottle opener?
Let's just go to fucking Cyprus.
Right, because the levels are good. It's still like 5.
Yeah.
5 or whatever, like a Latvia level.
Yeah.
And I guess what people maybe don't understand is that there is a direct Ryanair flight to Cyprus.
There is.
How did that come about? Did they just... I didn't even know there was a fucking
I'll
thing.
tell you what happened. I emailed Michael O'Leary, the CEO of Ryanair. I'm not joking with you. I didn't email him. I emailed Ryanair. And I complained about the seasonality of the direct flights from Estonia to Dublin. And I said, look, can you give me some information? Because I'm not the only Irishman who needs this direct flight service. I believe that every European Union capital should be connected to one another, and Ireland is not connected to Estonia all year round. So I said, look, could you give me information about whether you'd consider, because they used to do it all year round. They do it all year round to Latvia and Lithuania, just not Estonia. And I got a reply saying, we care about our customers and yada, yada, yada. The fucking next week they opened up direct flights to Malta and Cyprus. Just to fucking fuck you, Tim. That's what it was.
That was it.
That was it.
This fucking dude
they were like, we'll show this fucker. Cyprus and Malta.
By giving
jokes
him
on you, Ryanair. I'm going to Cyprus.
That he wants. Yeah. So we're going to Cyprus. And what, we're going to drive around a little bit, or what are we going to be doing?
I'm going to rent a very fast car.
Yeah. This is, again, guys, this is why things get better. This is what happens when you hang out with Tim Reedy.
And we're gonna fly into Paphos. We're gonna eat lots of kebabs.
Fuck yeah, we are.
Eat fuck tons of Cypriot meze. Do you know what Cypriot meze is?
What is that? I'll eat it, but what is it?
Cypriot meze is akin to like Spanish tapas. Just lots of small
I love this.
morsels. You know?
I love this.
So just sit by the beach, drink beer
I
and
love
fucking whatever they drink over there, and just eat meze, and then
We're gonna eat this shit that we drive around.
up to Nicosia to see the Turkish boys. We go across the DMZ.
Oh, yeah.
and dodge the landmines.
I watched YouTube videos about this. I know the Turkish and the Greek fucking thing.
Because the great thing about Cyprus is the Greek side became part of the European Union. So it forced the whole island to be part of the European Union. So there is a DMZ now, but you can just freely travel into the Turkish side.
Great.
And just eat more kebabs.
Fuck yes.
So it's going to be a week of kebabs and carousing and driving.
January 3rd, we're gonna go.
That's it.
Look, and if the
We should
lockdown
do a
comes,
podcast there. Why
oh yeah,
not?
we're gonna record. Absolutely, I've got those. We got the lapel mics.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
shit.
let's do it.
Yeah, we're gonna in the Ferrari.
Just go around talking to random
talking to
old
people.
Cypriot fellas.
Yeah,
What's up with you, man?
What's
What?
up with you? So yeah, we got this little trip planned to Cyprus to get away, and I don't know.
Because it does get rough in January.
It does get rough, especially after Christmas and New Year. It's a little bit. So it's good that we can get away.
Especially if we have to stay here for
January is the
Christmas,
best time.
So that's what we're going to do.
I love it, and this is very Tim Reedy style. He just went, "We're going to Cyprus," and I went, "All right, we're going to Cyprus."
Why not?
Good. Like even today, actually, before this podcast that was recorded, we went and shot guns.
Oh, that's right.
We did just before.
Bang bang style.
We did, like, because Tim loves shooting guns.
I do.
And guns are great. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Love guns.
We don't condone police brutality or
Black Lives Matter. Tim.
Do they?
Not in Estonia.
Yeah.
But we've learned how to defend ourselves. We use the AK-47. We use the NATO standard M4.
The same gun that Kyle Rittenhouse used in self-defense. In
That's right. We're learning the way of the white people.
That's
here.
right. Yeah, we're being very white. You know,
And isn't it great? What was the name of the shooting establishment that we went to?
it's TLK, the
TLK
tactical
one.
shooting range out
Right.
in Pelgu.
Pelgulin, like kind of on the way to Copley out there. And what is nice was that our instructor, the gentleman who was showing us, he had a super thick Russian accent.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like, yes, okay, now we shoot gun.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then this is largest handgun. This is twice as much as other gun. And it's so much better in the accent.
What did he say? He said about the large revolver. He said, this elephant killer.
Yeah, this kill elephant. This...
Interesting.
No, it was
elephant
like
killer.
No, and it was like, yeah, we got the classic revolver, like the classic revolver is like, this is gun that is used by dirty guy.
Dirty guy, yeah. I was going to correct him and say, actually, I think it's Dirty Harry.
And I went, no. I was like, no. Don't. It's so much better. Dirty guy.
Dirty guy.
And then we shot some elephant gun. We shot that. We shot some sort of machine gun, shotguns.
We fired a 44 Magnum, 2 Glocks at the same time.
That's so like an experience thing, not a practical thing, like 2 at a time.
Oh, yeah.
I did the video of you doing that, but in the slow-mo on the iPhone.
Oh, nice.
Like, boom, boom, boom. Look like a
Nice.
gangster.
And my rhythm was off today, though. I can usually pop. But,
Sure, in some punk's asses, yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely.
In Paide, you got to defend yourself on the mean
with the
streets of
M4,
Paide.
we had the fucking Israeli Desert Eagle, the great fucking Desert Eagle.
It was
handgun.
gold. That was the gold
Gold-plated,
one.
yeah.
It was
And
a gold-plated Desert Eagle.
Tiger-printed, gold-plated Desert
Karen
Eagle.
Bass. That's what Carol Baskin.
That's
fucking
right. Yeah.
Tiger printed. So we did a gold-plated Desert Eagle made in Israel because those cunts don't fuck around.
do not.
They do not
They do
fuck
not.
around in Israel. And we shot all that shit.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
It was good times. And thank you, Tim.
When I fired the M4, some gunpowder went right into my mouth and right up my nose. It's causing my fucking nose to phlegm up like at the moment because it has to be done though, you know. The amount of people I've taken shooting through the pandemic has been so funny because it's almost like we're actually preparing for a fucking apocalypse. You know what I mean? 'Cause, and to be fair, I do believe everyone should be able to learn how to fire a weapon properly, how to handle a gun properly. It's, maybe you'll never be in a situation where you have to use a gun, not in this country, but it's just a nice skill to have, you know?
It does feel like a good skill to have. Because we were talking before about the law has changed recently that in Estonia, you can't, did you understand it correctly? You can't do the gun license thing in English anymore.
Yeah, you have to hire a translator or learn the language. So
Right.
that's why I'm learning Estonian.
That's it. So I can fire a
So I can
gun.
get a gun.
Bam! Today, motherfuckers! Queen's fucking Laheb!
Hey, that's a Stuart. That's a Stuart
boom.
Johnson punchline. He can't be stealing
Actually,
his lines.
Queen's fucking Laheb isn't a Stuart Johnson
No, it's
punchline.
not.
If I will actually trace back the history, Queen's fucking
Strap
Laheb
in, folks.
actually was I think it was Jeff Graff, who was one of those foreigners who's been here since like day one. He's one of those foreigners that's been here since the fucking Russian tanks rolled out. He rolled in. And one time we did an outside show outside of Old Merkur, like super legit back in the day. And the only thing that any of us remember from his act was Queen's fucking Laheb. That's where it came from.
Okay.
It's not Stuart Johnson doing some sort of hack joke. It's him actually
okay.
referencing Jeff Graff.
Well, sorry,
I didn't. So there you go.
I didn't know the history. The history.
You don't know.
behind
Look,
that.
I'm the history. I'm everything.
Yeah.
It's all here.
Whoa, you're everything. Slow down, Jesus Christ. You had a Dennis Reynolds from It's Always Sunny moment there. But yeah, no. So yeah, shooting was great, and
so anyway, I started blasting. There we go. If we're doing Sunny references,
yeah.
Good.
Started blasting. Boom, boom. Fantastic show. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Surprises me how many people haven't seen it. Because to me, it's quintessential comedy.
Sure.
I think it's the greatest comedy show of all time.
It's a big call. It's a big call.
Yeah.
So we did shooting. What else we went shooting. I had notes for us to talk about here. Where are we in? Were you just doing
I was doing wanker
jerking
sign,
motion?
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Why is that?
Because you were doing this with
because I've got my notes.
You need glasses down here like this.
Because I fucking spent 5 minutes thinking about what we might say in this episode.
No, you need glasses down the end of your nose.
Oh, but I'm the wanker here.
Tim is fat. What?
What is down the page 20 times. That's all I've got written here.
But anyway, just to finish my point that I was talking about earlier about how everyone came together during the pandemic. I felt almost immediately when the shows started up again, everyone kind of went their own way again.
Such is the way of life.
Such is the way of life, but it just felt like the end. So I'm not saying that if there's another lockdown, I don't want another lockdown, but I'm just saying it was nice.
It's not bad. How do you think, as Tim, cultural observer, man
Is that what I am? Is that my official title?
That's what you are. That's right. Man who is just hanging around, observing, looking, being sensitive to the ways of people as you are, Tim Reedy.
Am I fuck?
Oh, you are. How do you think that pandemic, COVID, lockdown, the whole thing, how do you think that's changed the fair country of Estonia?
How has it changed the country?
How are we now? Obviously, many changes in society. Maybe as globally we've changed. But anything you see in
Estonia specifically?
Yeah, because that's what we want to know. We don't give a shit about Latvia. We want to know about Estonia here. It's a tough one,
Not
right?
much, to be honest.
Not much? Okay.
Because, sure, before the pandemic, and I know it's such a fucking hacky joke to make, but, the whole Nordic countries, which, by the way, in the movie Tenet, they do refer to Estonia as a Northern European country.
For sure, that was a fucking... EAS is like, we ain't giving you the money unless you say we're a Nordic country. Like 100%.
The whole reason that Estonia is in the movie, this is not spoiled, but the police are transporting plutonium-241 through Tallinn. So the guy's like, he almost looks at the camera and winks when he says, like, there's plutonium-241 being transported through Northern Estonia, or Northern Europe. It's fucking hilarious. But
100% paid for by EAS.
Oh yeah, but that hacky joke, like, oh sure, the Nordic countries, they fucking the 2 meter distance is over, so they can go back to having 5 meter distance, that type of shit. But not really. I mean, no, I can see much more Ireland being affected long term by this, because we're a very like hands-on, huggy.
You are
like warm immediately. You don't have to crack the shell of the Irish person. We're just fucking we're in it from the beginning. So even when I was at home, like, it was like watching old people struggle with even the concept of wearing a mask. You'd see a lot of old men having to be like told, you got to leave the shop, buddy. You're not wearing your mask, and like not understanding it, and young people genuinely like just sitting at home doing fuck all, nothing to do, nowhere to go, antisocial behaviour through the fucking roof. It's having a big effect in Ireland and the UK. Whereas here, I'm not sure it phased people that much, to be
Not
honest.
so much. I feel like we kind of got through it. We're
Yeah.
all right. I mean, certainly things have gone wrong, and maybe it's been difficult in our industry of entertainment.
Yeah.
I mean, look, all industries have been affected. So
I think
maybe-
for sure, business-wise, the country got a bit fucked, but sure, we're back to normal now. Like,
I mean, that's what it feels like.
yeah.
And that also, that particularly for Comedy Estonia, that so we've got our old mate, our old friend Turnus Lucas. Turnus Lucas.
Who's that?
Turnus Lucas, the culture minister.
Oh, that fella.
He's the minister of parliament, and he wears this cravat. He looks like a fucking, like he's trying to be aristocratic, but he's really just a dickhead. And he made the grand proclamation that there is no 50% limit on venues with fixed seating, with numbered seats. One of those two, right?
What do you mean 50% limit? So
So,
you
you
have
know,
to cut the attendance in half?
No, well, 50%. It used to be, hey, 50% distancing.
Oh,
like
yeah,
a venue can only have 50% of their capacity in there.
One seat free, one person.
Or
one
something
seat
like
free.
that,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
at least that you could, well, here's the thing, now you start getting to it. They would often say 50% limit, but they didn't say one seat free. So we would have a venue where everyone would be jammed at the front because they just said
Really?
50% limit.
Because I
They
always
didn't
thought
say-
it was the 2+2 rule. It was
Well,
two.
the Estonian government banned 2+2 a while ago.
Did they?
Yeah, quite some time
Really?
ago. But then Mr. Turnus Lucas said that because he said that venues with numbered or fixed seats, I forget what his terminology was, but basically a theater, like fixed seats, right? Like numbered fixed seats, a theater. They do not have any distancing requires anymore. And it's pretty fucking straight up that he was doing it to protect his theater buddies. Right?
Oh,
All
the cunt.
The theater crew, the opera, all the traditional shit that people love, and that's all the, what fucking good culture is based off, right? It was clear that that's what he's doing it for.
Yeah.
He don't give a shit about cafes or bars or regular stuff. However, that has had Mr. Lucas the unintended side effect that Sandroigas tour could go ahead because he's in theaters. And he's in fixed seat places.
And I would assume his tour would have put more bums on seats than
absolutely
anything else
absolutely.
at the moment.
So that's gone. So in fact, we got helped a bit there. I never thought that Mr. Turnus Lucas would help us out, but he did.
Yeah.
By helping his theater buddies, he inadvertently helped us by saying the theaters, because the theater is the big show, and that's where we make a little money. And that's, we don't make money off the open mic where people are coming, right? No, we make it off the theater with, 500
And
people.
is this 50% thing still in place at the moment?
For venues with non-fixed seating.
50%. Yeah.
So if you have to lay out
So like
the chair.
Uxquake last night.
Uxquake, absolutely, that's 50%. If you have to lay, Kapika, 50%. If you have to lay out the chair like it's a removable chair, 50% still.
Yeah.
But theatre, quite fine to have us with 700 people in Vene Katorikeskos. Totally fine according to the law and so forth. So, look, it's inconsistent, but
It makes no sense.
thankfully, well, so many things. So, thankfully, we have fallen on the, it's totally chance 50-50.
Yeah.
We have fallen on the good side of that, thankfully,
So,
for our business.
In Sanders' shows, like the seats were filled. There was no gaps, no nothing.
Now, most of the tickets that we're selling right now were sold before the pandemic. So we had some Vene Katorika. I think we've had Vene in Tallinn. We had Rapla. We had Viljandi. We had Pulva. Most of those were pre-sold before the pandemic. And we gave people a chance to make a refund, and a few people did. And then we sold a few more. So most venues have been like pretty much at our capacity. We had some refunds, but then we got some back as well. And so that's good for us because that's what keeps us going. And we're all, Sanders, pulling a few beads of sweat from his brow. So that bit is good. That's a happy outcome for us.
It's just funny that, the fixed seats aren't policed because
Yeah.
if you can't move the seat, then you can't create distance. So it's kind of counterintuitive,
It's extremely arbitrary. And it does seem like, we're doing it for our big theatery buddies. But hey, fuck it, that worked for us. Last night at Uxquake, where we are having 50% and we were talking to the venue and making sure that's cool. In the middle of the show, the cops showed up out the front, but they never came down.
Really?
To Uxkoik. Yeah, there was the cop
Ooh,
van.
good thing I moved my car.
Yeah, the cop van was there. It was the unmarked van was there, but the cops never showed up down in our little bar there. So,
Just you saying the cops brings me back to
the cops.
No,
Cops.
like what you were saying about like January feels so long ago.
It does.
I remember back in March, I made my semi-regular trip down to Superalco on the Latvian border, and when I passed into Latvia, there were no cops. But when I came back, there was two Estonian lads there, two cops handing out coronavirus pamphlets, and fuck me, that feels like that feels like a year ago. But it was only last March. Right. And I remember like taking pictures with my phone.
Yeah, I remember you sent me those pictures.
I sent you the pictures like, ha, look at this. Coronavirus. Pff, sure, what the fuck is that, hey? And now it's like, it's just weird how the series of events have unfolded, and here we are now. So, I don't know. I guess it's strange because I never, like during the lockdown, I never felt like there was anything serious going on. It just felt like...
I mean, it was difficult to have it real.
Yeah. Because like I hear stories from America and I'm like, whew. Like my cousin who's an NYPD traffic cop he's in Long Island at the moment, and he's lost friends with coronavirus.
Right.
I don't know a single person who's had coronavirus.
Sure. Besides me. I don't know one.
Don't do that to me. Poor James had a scare. He thought himself and Sandra, his girlfriend, had a coronavirus, but they went tested and they're fine.
They were just sickly Welsh people.
Yeah.
That's all he was.
And I was bringing him stuff the whole time. I met him some black pudding sausage rolls and brought them to him. So maybe that cured him of the coronavirus.
Sausage, that's what it was. Sausage roll. Is that like an Australian sausage roll? So a sausage roll in Australia has like the mincemeat sort of, and then it has some pastry around it. That's the same thing for you. But black. Did you say black?
Well, when I was in Ireland... Let's be fucking honest. I didn't go back.
I didn't go back dishonesty, Tim Reedy.
I didn't go back to Ireland to see my mommy and my daddy. I went back to bring back as much black pudding as I fucking could, and I did. I brought back like 20 sausages of Irish black pudding.
Okay.
And PM made sausage rolls out of some of them, and I gave some to James.
That's nice.
And they cured his coronavirus. So Trump, hit me up. Hey, I know you watch this podcast. I know you watch.
It's a great podcast. These two fucking dickheads, they're great. It's a great podcast.
Is that a Trump?
That's my Trump impersonation.
You sound like fucking Al Pacino.
That's right, I'm down. Say hello to my little friend.
Do you know I've never seen Scarface?
Really? Oh, you gotta see it. But that was because when we had the Desert Eagle pistol today at the shooting range, it was gold. That was very Scarface.
I've never seen it.
I would have said you wouldn't have got the reference.
I wouldn't have.
Uncultured fuck.
I've never seen Goodfellas either.
Uncultured fuck.
I know, yeah. Like even the lads were giving me shit on their podcast. Oh, Towdy and James's podcast. Zombie Pigman Genocide. I was on the last episode. It's very hard to find it. James kind of...
These guys are not into marketing if they call their podcast Zombie fucking Pig.
I can tell you the story behind it, though.
I mean, I'm sure it's a great story. Nevertheless, are we thinking about marketing
but
here?
But the problem is the podcast is not called Zombie Pigman Genocide. It's called... Pest from the West, which is James's original
that's right.
podcast, dash Zombie Pigman Genocide.
Oh, it's very catchy.
You need to get on that, lads, because you can't find it even if you try. But
how hipster are these fucking podcasts supposed to be?
They're fucking great podcasts.
If you can't find it,
they talk shit about me not watching Scarface and fucking Goodfellas the whole time, which I get. Because they're apparently iconic movies that I've not seen. So
apparently iconic movies.
I don't know.
I take a breather for a second. What we got doing here? We're good. We're in the studio here. So I guess if people are listening, you probably just heard us yell at each other for 50 minutes straight.
It's been great though.
It's a good 50 minutes.
It's shooting in words. Ba 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 ba. Back and forth.
I thought it was a shooting reference, but okay, that's shooting.
But I suppose I should ask you, Lewis. What do you think has transpired during this pandemic. Do you think Estonia has changed?
That
at
is
all?
interesting because I came up with that question for you, but I totally didn't think about the answer that I would give. So I am also on the spot. How?
Because you're deep in it. You run a business here.
I'm in the deep state.
No, for real though. Like
deep- deep in it.
your business relies on people coming together in rooms,
Sure.
pubs being open, venues being open, people being willing to come out in the middle of all this. That's the thing too, right?
And to socialize and to be there and to come together.
Because as soon as the restrictions were lifted, oh my fuck, I made the mistake of going to Sveta Bar that night. I'm shocked I didn't get coronavirus.
It was happening.
So many
It was
people there.
happening. I was all because it was whatever June 1, I think was the thing. I was in our office going, "Hey yo, can we do an open mic that starts at midnight on June 1?"
Oh, that would have been chaos.
Hella was like, "No, you fucking don't do that." And I'm
that
like,
would've
"Come on!" And she's like, "No." And I'm like, "All
It
right,
would have been a disaster.
all right, fine." Because I just wanted to send a message.
Yeah.
I wanted to send a message. We're like, the minute we can do it, we're fucking in it.
Yeah.
And then Hella said, no. Let's just do one at 8 p.m. that night. And I
Yeah.
went, no, such a killjoy. Fine. If we have to be so late with it, okay.
No, that would have been chaos. You would have had like hundreds of people.
Wait
outside.
around till midnight. I mean, it would have been a thing like, hey, it's 12:01. We can now step onto the stage.
Am I remembering correctly that you thought about having an outdoor KPK show, but you decided against it because you were worried about the sheer amount of people that would have turned up?
Well, yeah, we entertained a lot of different options during that time. And yeah, how do we do it? Because that was still when it was like, you've got to be distanced and everyone's got to be 2 meters apart and all this shit. And we were like, well, that just doesn't work for stand-up. That doesn't, you inherently need people. But we do know that we haven't wanted to do them outside. Like, we don't want to, the purpose of an open mic is not to do the biggest show ever. It's to do a show with a few people that you can chill out and relax and see how the jokes go. It's not to be the biggest thing ever. So when you do it outside at Kapika and you make it a big thing in Teleskivi and we're on a stage and it's like we're at a fucking festival, that's no longer open mic. That's a show.
Because we did that before.
Yeah,
and it was bonkers.
Or like at Petri, I was saying, with our more affluent friends in the Petri area. Before I went on stage, I understood this was not an open mic. I wasn't going to be able to just fuck around, say some shit that just came to my head. I was like, no. I got to be bringing the goods. There's 250 people in this room. They're spread out. They rolled up in the Porsche. They want a show. This is not open mic. And it's not a problem. Like we said, it was
it's a
open mic.
good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have. But it means you don't get to test. I was like, so I did good material. We killed. Everyone did great. But the open mic is there for the testing. And
But it's so fucking hard because like Comedy Estonia is so bloody fucking prolific now that when I travel and I meet Estonians abroad, I always mention Comedy Estonia. And they all know about you. And I remember back 3 years ago, we tried our fucking best to do the pop-up mics at Muku. Same shit. 300 people would show up and like, how do we just perform to
We're very
nobody?
fortunate. Very, very fortunate. We've worked out enough ways to know how to make that work. For example, tonight after we're done here, we're going to go down to Craic in Old Town, and that's 40 people. That's all the venue friggin' fits. So solutions were find a smaller place that's more suited to it. Let's do them more often. And now, because now Craic is really like our comedy club. We're doing it once or twice a week. We're doing it twice this week.
Proper underground, grungy vibe, dark.
Where it's at. We're very fortunate. I'm very fortunate. It's super odd that this is the best place in the world to be a stand-up
really
comedian.
is. It's the greatest scene.
It's
of all
so
time.
odd to be in. And we won't always be, because now that is partly due to the management of Estonia and where we're at, but also Latvia has a better corona rate than us, and they don't have such a good scene. There is a Comedy Latvia, which I also run, but they're not as advanced. So there is something about the advancement of the Comedy Estonia
You need to
scene.
clone yourself like that one sheep.
Dolly the sheep.
Lewis the sheep. Send Lewis the sheep down to Latvia.
Send me down to
sort
Latvia,
those boys out.
Lithuania, down to Russia, Finland.
Because that's what they need. They need like a hands-on person who's there the whole time. But sure, you can't fucking teleport.
Sure.
So what are you going to do?
And I don't want to go to Latvia that much. Fuck that place.
What is it? You want me to move to Latvia so I can run comedy Latvia? 'Cause I
Please
love
do.
Riga. I'd love to live in Riga.
Please
I'd
do.
love to. I know you're not the biggest fan of Riga.
Not the biggest
but,
fan of Riga.
I
Fucking shithole.
love it. Oh, how can you say it's a shithole?
It's just all Soviet and shit. It's always dark there, and I'm like, yes, welcome to Riga.
But it's like, it's cool. It's class, you know?
Yeah. It's all everyone's backward shit, and every time we have to do a show there, everyone's fucking
But
backward.
it has Pakistanas kebabs and Osmenas kebabs.
Osmenis kebab is very good.
Yes.
If you want to get the food in Riga, Osmenis, I don't know how to say it, Osmenis kebab, top notch.
Right down from fucking Kanapes Kultura Centers.
Kanapes. It's a good venue where we do our shows, and there's a great kebab place. This is half the reason we do the shows in Riga.
Do you know what? Interestingly enough, I think the reason why I prefer Riga over Tallinn, no offense,
Fucking look
is
out.
because I see like Tallinn is the analog, the Estonian analog, like the LSD analog that I'm not purchasing at the moment, of Dublin. It's the capital of the country. It's just this big fucking stinking European capital, just like Copenhagen or Oslo or any of those
Tallinn
places.
is. This
Tallinn
is Tallinn
is.
in your analogy.
Tallinn is the Dublin of my Estonian life.
Okay.
But Riga is the Edinburgh of my life in Estonia. It's this adjacent capital city. And in my mind, because I fucking love Edinburgh. Edinburgh is my favorite city. But on the outset, it's not that different to Dublin. They're both capital cities. They got shitty fucking Egypts going around the place, spitting in cops' mouths.
Isn't that great? Egypts. Idiots.
They have,
Egypts,
you know,
you
pubs.
Egypt.
It's very similar, but to me, Edinburgh is up there.
So
Like-
the Edinburgh is the Riga of
Yeah.
the Riga of the Edinburgh.
What would that make Vilnius? No,
He's just saying, look, Estonian people. He's saying he hates Estonia.
I don't. I love Estonia.
I would
But
like
Tallinn-
let's get Ekra on his ass.
Dude,
okay?
come at me,
You
fucking
said
Martin
that,
Helmer.
like, I'm gonna-
I was on Posty Mace looking for the latest coronavirus numbers, and I see the top story was the president. Is it Kristen or Kirsten?
Christy.
Christy Kaljulaid.
Yeah.
And she was standing next to, who's the younger Helmer?
Martin Helmer.
And there was some controversy. They took a photograph together.
Right, because they look super awkward.
Well, she looked awkward. He was just
Right, he was like,
he was that weird.
right.
fucking-
That's why it looked
yeah.
like a fucking every 18-year-old prom photo that you ever seen.
come
The
at me, come
the
at me,
guys there
Helmer.
going, and she's going,
Come at me, Helma. I've contributed more to Estonia than you have. How about that?
Oh, big-
Fighting words.
What have you?
The amount of money I spend in this country is actually stunning.
The pizza kiosk would not be a franchise. The businesses that you've supported along the way, pizza kiosk,
Sip.
Sip Bar, Hesburger in Paide, wouldn't even have an outlet. They listened to the podcast. They were like, yo, we got to open up a fucking Hesburger
shooting
in
ranges?
Paide.
Come on.
The shooting ranges.
All the essential businesses. Shooting and burgers. That's it. That's it.
That's all we need.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know, Lewis. I don't know.
Good. We got a little box of beer here. The box, maybe you can see on the video if you're watching, but it's the box they just gave us a seat, but it's from Uniperidium.
Which is right over here.
Right, here in Teleskivi.
They're a gin bar, right?
They are like a gin.
Do they make their own gin? though, do they?
Uniperidium gym. We went there a couple of weeks ago, probably 4 weeks ago, maybe 6. I don't know. 2. Who knows? And I was out with some friends, and I was also with Rauno and his
The man, the myth, the legend himself.
legend Rauno Kusik with his girlfriend, and they were drinking.
She's a legend as well, by the way.
She's fantastic.
She's
She's a
fantastic.
pastry chef. She's amazing.
He did well with her.
Rauno's on the train. He's on the mark. You're right. She's lovely, and we were out, and they were drinking the whiskeys or something heavy like that. And so we go
My
in.
boy Rauno, the
and
whiskey
I'm,
boy.
Yeah, because I'm all like, yo, we'll get a couple of gin tonics. And they were like, each gin tonic was like 10 euros each. And you're like, oh, all right, no problems. And then Rauno goes like, yo, we want 2 double whiskeys. And then Uniperidium chick goes, that'll be 60 euros. And
You fucking what?
and that's where you just see like Rauno go, what the fuck? And this is all happening in Estonian. And this is one of the moments where like if you don't understand the language, like you know something, and so when something is said that's so outrageous, like you don't know if you heard it properly, she's like, Kuskumen urot. And I'm like, Midavitu? What the fuck? Like, did I get the fucking number wrong or something? And then you see Rano and his girlfriend just go like, what? And yeah, I don't think they eventually got the 60 euros for 2 drinks.
It must have been some fucking 20-year.
Yeah, I guess the
Scotch or
typical
some
because
shit.
it's such an exclusive place, the Unipedium, whatever the fuck. So they didn't get that eventually. Rano hasn't got 60 euros for 2 drinks. Sorry. Maybe Sandra has. She's a more she's very entrepreneurial. Has a good bakery.
I
business.
went to Kaya Pizza Cook with them once, and just like, because I'm not a chef. I'm just a fat man who likes food and likes to cook food. That's it. But like talking to another human being about food, like the way we were, was just, it's liberating. You know what I mean?
Talking to what, Sandra?
Sandra about food and about baking and about different fucking types of bread and shit. It's like, oh.
Someone really
It's
knows
like a
you,
comedian. It's like you're foreign and you meet another comedian and you're talking about comedy. It's like,
Okay, you know the thing,
no, you
yeah.
get it. You know how to make sourdough. Fuck me. Yes. Because I used to talk to Sandra about this shit, but I haven't actually met Sandra in a while. I should drive down to his place and hang out with him.
Yeah, he's making the. Well, he's been very stressed. Sander Igis, we're talking about here. Very stressed, because he's got his tour on. Will the government change their mind? Yeah. And he's been a bit of a
Is
stress.
there a worry that the government will go?
Well, sure, you don't know, right? No one knows. Will the government change their mind? As I just was telling everybody before, that the Mr. Lucas has let us into theaters, so things are going good. But of course, you'll get a little bit stressed. And
because I drove
that's
by.
your livelihood. That's someone's livelihood.
I drove by the port yesterday evening. The amount of tourists coming off the boats is shocking.
Really?
It's
From
crazy.
Finland?
From Finland, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if they have tests or checks or something. I don't think they do because Finland is below the 16.
No, but still, yeah, they're below us.
Yeah.
They're okay. You
But
can
all
let
the
you
same,
see it.
all the same, it's like whew,
Fucking Finnish.
a lot of
people.
boys, a
Done.
lot of lads, a lot of big fat fuckers coming off the
They're
boat.
so fat and
They are
Finland.
fucking. They love that. Are they born with cowboy hats? Are Finnish men born with long hair and cowboy hats?
They're born with. There is definitely a ripple of subculture in Finland that is kind of obsessed with classic American culture.
There's a little bit of that here as well, though.
Little bit, but even more in Finland. We're talking the South will rise again, Union,
Yeehaw!
Yeehaw, swing dancing, classic cars,
Lion dancing.
hillbilly. Not hillbilly. Is it like this sort of shit? Right? There's definitely a seam of that running through whatever that's cool to be like that. Finland's got more of those
fucking
people.
lame. It's so fucking lame. And I don't want to talk shit about Finland because actually this evening I'm going to meet up with a Scottish friend of mine who just moved to Finland. He's over here now.
Okay.
Bringing coronavirus over with him. But
Fucking foreigners.
and he's like telling me how fucking great his town is. He lives in a town called, it starts with Ima something or other.
Itala?
No, it's Imaka. I don't know.
In Finland.
In Finland.
So
yeah.
somewhere outside of Helsinki.
Outside of Helsinki, yeah.
Okay, and he
I'm
loves
like-
it.
He loves it. He's like,
Why?
because he hasn't been to Tallinn in years. So,
He doesn't know how good this is.
well, I just don't believe him. I think he's full of shit that this town is so great because I don't mind Finland. As a country, they're fine. But Helsinki, the city, oh, fuck.
Boring
Throw
as
me
shit.
into the sea. Throw me into the fucking
But
sea.
is he in Finland's Paide? Is that it? And he's like, is he just a simple man? And
Finland's
he's got Finland pizza kiosk and
don't know.
Finland
His wife
Hesburger,
is
which
Finnish,
is still
so-
Hesburger.
I don't know.
that
He,
it?
he just moved over 3 months ago. So
Okay.
he's fucking over here
Oh,
now.
he's still in the honeymoon period.
Yeah.
Oh, this culture is so
I'm
interesting.
going to bring him shooting tomorrow.
And different.
And we'll fucking
Oh,
see what's up.
Are you in the? Because there's definitely the honeymoon period.
Yeah.
Where you're like, this culture is so interesting and different, and I like it. Like
Exactly.
after a while, you're like, fuck
You get
all of
used
these
to it.
people.
You get used to it.
You're used to it.
And then you get used to the good, and then you get used to the bad, but the bad's always bad.
But the
so-
bad is bad everywhere.
Yeah.
Bad is bad in Ireland. The bad is bad in Australia.
yeah.
That's the point to make out. But at first, you're like, oh, these people are amazing. They're so enlightened with whatever the fuck they do in their culture.
I even had this happen when I went back to Ireland. I was like, I'm home, because when you drive from Dublin to Ireland, you pass through. It's called the Galtee Valley. It's the Golden Vale. It's these big green, like the Windows 98 desktop, right?
Okay.
And I'm driving, and I'm tired, and I'm emotional because I'm driving home, and there's a tear forming in my eye. I remember even taking a picture for the lads on Facebook, like, look, green. And I get home, and I see my parents, and I go to bed. I wake up the next morning. I go to my nearby town to get some alcohol because
of course,
Ireland. And I see this old familiar character walking down the street. I don't know what his name is. He's a deaf Irish traveller. And throughout my entire youth, this guy would come up to me and go, any hash, any hash.
Hash.
Any hash.
Any hash of all the things that you could possibly have
then,
on you.
Hash was like we didn't smoke weed in Ireland. Just hash because it was cheap and shitty. Everyone had hash. So I had long hair. So he was like, any hash, any hash. I'm like, nah, man, no hash.
No hash.
So he's grown up now, and I went back to town, and I was walking around Tralee Town, my hometown where I grew up, and I was like, I'm home. Yes, I'm home. Yeah, let's go fucking visit all the old friends and all the old spots. And I see this fella marching down the street. He had a pink, shiny shirt on and a pair of pants up to his like chest, and he was like Billy strutting like Conor McGregor down the street on the opposite side of the street. And I thought, fuck, if he sees me now, he's gonna come over and go, any hash, any hash. But he didn't. He saw two black fellas that were walking right in front of me, and I swear to God, he turned around and go, "Hi, nigger, nigger." He started yelling nigger at him, and they were like, "Yo, come back here now, come back here and say that to my face, come say that to my face." And in this like swell of like emotion, I'm home. Oh, Ireland, the west coast of Ireland, best. I was like, this fucking shit. Yeah, I see why I left. These dirty scumbags, they just haven't changed. And then from that day on, I just started seeing the bad everywhere again. The same old faces and the same old heads just being fucking...
You'd be like, I wish I was in Paide.
Yeah, I did. Kiosk. I was like, I should fucking leave early. You know?
It's rough, man.
Fucking hell.
It's rough. Huh. Yeah, I haven't... I mean, now it's, what, 5 years? I forget how many long I've been to Australia. 5 years? I can't even think of how it's been. At least 5 years. Yeah, 5 years since I've been to Australia. I got my friend of mine, Ross, and that's a very Australian name, Ross. And he lives on Murray Street, which is fucking, he's the most Australian bloke ever. I'm Ross, and I live on Murray Street in Adamstown. It's so fucking Australian. And Ross, he came to Estonia, and again, I want to say more than 5 years ago. And he was... anyway, he came to us, he was feeling a bit disillusioned with his life. And so we grew up, we went to school together. He was the school captain. He was good.
School captain in what? Sport?
Yeah, no, in fucking school.
Just the captain of the
captain,
school.
we have that. Like, we don't have fucking sport. You have the, like, someone just gets voted school captain and you're it. And somehow we weren't part of the cool group. He was just part of our group, but he got voted school captain because he's like super solid guy. Anyway, so he had some bad shit. He went through an experience, went through a little bit of a divorce, wasn't sure what's going on in his life. And 5 or 6 years ago, he's like, I'm not doing nothing. I'm coming to Estonia. And I went, cool, right on, bro. Come out here. He's such a crazy cyclist. He brought his bike. He's like fucking bike that he goes on. And he came here. I rented a bike. We cycled to Tartu. We had these good times. And then what happened was, it was about a week in. And I was all like, yeah, look, I love my friend, but fuck this guy. And I hooked up. There was a friend of mine, and I said, yo, hey, I got this Aussie friend of mine, a young lady. I was like, hey, I got this Aussie friend of mine. Let's go have a drink. And so we all went and have a drink. And then I don't know what came over me, but kind of we met at the Radisson, and we all had, hey, let's have a drink. And then about 15 minutes in, I'm just like, hey, yo, I got to go. And I just bailed. I think I had to go meet a chick or something. And so I just bailed and left the two of them alone. And after that, he never stayed at my house again.
Oh.
for the next half a week. He never stayed at my house. He went back to Australia. There was still a little bit of an up and down, and it was it's difficult that she's here, he's there, that's difficult. But they eventually worked it out, and some years later, she's fucking in Australia with him. And they're together, and they got a baby. And they're together, and so they are together. They have a little baby in Estonia. So my fucking friend from school, one of my best friends from high school, he's now got an Estonian partner. She's living in Newcastle with him, and they've got a little kid, and they're doing well, and everything's good. And it's the only example that I have that is like, I'm helping the population. No, I didn't make a child myself, but I helped someone make a child.
There's a human alive because of you.
Yeah,
That's the way you should see it.
That's the way I'm thinking it. I'm doing my bit. Look, I made like half a child, technically.
Some people can't. Some people don't like that.
What?
I was part of this online community years ago, ran by this fella in Florida.
Here we go.
His name was Robert something.
What community is this?
There was this website called Tiny Chat,
Okay.
which was
What was the community based around? What was it?
It was just like video chat.
Okay.
What was it? It was not based on anything. It was like there was all these different rooms where it was all these different people could cam up and chat and just hang out. And
Okay, but how did it evolve? It always usually goes somewhere.
I found it via 4chan of all places, because some chick was posting her tits in there, and I was like, all right, I'll check it out, I guess. And I started hanging out here, and this guy ran this room for years, and he was the guy who ran the room every day, moderated the room every day, and a lot of people met up via this site. There are a lot of couples together with kids because of this site. And I remember telling him once, there's at least 10 human beings alive because of you, right? And he was like, no, that's bullshit. You should never think of it that way. That's nonsense. I'm like, no.
What's bad about
it's
thinking
true.
about that?
It's fucking true. Like, these people would never have met each other if not for finding each other in your room at this, all right, fair enough, right time, right place. Doesn't really matter. You're the progenitor of all of this. These people are alive because of you. And he's like, he just couldn't handle it. He was like,
you could even extend that a little bit further. And what about the number of couples that are together because the first date was at a Comedy Estonia show?
True, yeah.
That's a bit.
There's
that
thousands
fucking
of them.
freaks me out.
There's an army out
What
there.
are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I met a girl. We're on Tinder. We dated. We're like, how you go? You go. Nice tits. Delete. Don't say that. Okay. What are we gonna do? I appreciate. Look, I'm not trying to say we're fucking fantastic. I'm just trying to say, yes, part of our business model is there isn't much to do. So you come to the show, right? I get it. You didn't know what to do, so you came to the show, and now you're together, and now you got a kid, and now, that's why we have the theater shows, because now you're together, you got the kid, you got a family, you got to hire a babysitter.
You're creating ticket sales.
Right, I'm making news. Soon that little fucking kid's going to be in school. They want to go to Moscow and see us. It's the wheel of life is a beautiful thing.
This guy's argument was, that's just the way life is, and it's not worth noting. It's not worth...
Oh, it's totally worth noting.
I think it is.
Oh, it's 100%.
But he was like,
I don't want to be overblown, but it's nice to think that people met at the show and this is the place they want to come and, cool, because, I haven't
because
made it.
love is a beautiful thing.
You also have not made any
Don't
little
point at me, buddy.
You haven't made any little Estonians. I don't see no Tim Reedy little... Timor Reedy running around. No, nothing. You haven't. You got to make some.
With the pressure, Jesus fucking Christ.
Timor Reedy.
Every time I go home, it's like,
Vaiki Timor.
Your mother love fucking went.
Maybe a little
What
bit.
about my fucking brother up in Wexford not putting out any children? How about, why is the pressure on me?
Just make a couple. Just
I'd be an incredible father.
Maybe Pizza Kiosk needs some new customers. Come on, think of Pizza Kiosk.
Take over Pizza Kiosk.
Take it.
Take it over.
That's why we're taking the guns, so we can violently take over Pizza Kiosk.
Because their head office is in Paide. So
really?
if we go in with guns, what can they do? They just have to give us the company.
We're going to take the head office. Look, I've been studying this. I know how regimes work.
Yeah,
we take the head office. Once we take head office, They can't. We'll fucking be able to take pizza kiosk. We'll overtake pizza kiosk. We're
They'll
done.
be like, we'll call the police. Call them. I'll shoot them.
Yeah, we've got Paide. Fuck you. We've got pizza kiosk. We've got Paide. It's basic military strategy. You get the most important asset in the town, and then you can. Pizza kiosk is it.
We should take the whole town.
What's more important than pizza kiosk and
What
Paide?
can stop us?
No, we got guns. We got pizza kiosk. We got the world.
That's what I was thinking yesterday when I met up with you above Oaks Creek. Because I did park in a place where I wasn't supposed to park. It was a towing thing. And the thought just did come into my head. Well, look, if the cops come, I'll just tell them I don't care. You want to find me? Oh, fine.
Sure.
Whatever. I don't care.
It's good. Just say that. Just be like, hey, it's all right.
I know, because I know I'm in the wrong. I'm in the wrong. I'll pay the fine. I don't care. It's fine. Fair enough. Here you go.
You rich foreigner.
I'm not even rich. I barely break even, but sure, it's the image that counts, right? act like you have $1 million. That's it.
I love it. When like the other day, Sander messages me and he's like, "Yo, we were driving back from the gig and I think we went through the speed camera a little bit quickly. I think we got camera. Just want to let you know. I think there's a fine coming." And I'm like, "Hey, don't worry about it, bro."
It's odd here is it's per kilometer.
And then I get the fine and it's whatever. Like they were like 3 kilometers over some bullshit, right? But due to the Estonian system, it's 12 euros. And I'm like, I will happily pay a 12 euro speeding fine all day. All day. It's hilarious. In Australia, there's no speeding fine under $200. Like that's your
and you have penalty points too.
Yeah, penalty points.
Oh, Estonians don't even know about penalty points.
Penalty points. Which means, because like in Estonia, if you get a speeding fine, you can just pay and pay, like the little ones, definitely. You can just pay and pay and pay and it doesn't matter. If you get the bigger ones, like when I was doing fucking whatever, 25 over, and the bloke pulled me over on the way to Tartu, we were going. If the bloke pulls you over and you're sitting in the back of the car, then there is discretionary power on the officer was like, look, when you did whatever 25 over going down Tartu Highway, which by the way, I'm a fucking patriot. That's why I was doing 25 over down Tartu Highway.
Fitting in.
But nevertheless, okay.
Assimilation.
Assimilation, that's right. You've done this. Here's the fine. Here's what we could give you, but I've looked at your record and you haven't got anything on your record. So look, I'll bring it down to whatever the minimum can be. And the police officer has
fair play to him.
has whatever, some authorization to work, within that, right? And but on the other hand, we've had loads of cameras. Like we're always getting the 3 kilometer 4 kilometer, whatever. Not like the fuck you speed. Just like, it's late and you're driving home and you fucking miss it and it's 4 kilometers over and the camera gets you and it's 12 euros or whatever. And you're like, yeah, sure. Okay, whatever. I did it. But that doesn't show up on your record. So the officer goes like, well, technically you have me fined for the last whatever number of years. So cool. I'll give you the minimum. Off you go. Which in Australia,
you're fucked, right?
You're fucked. Everything is on your record. Everything is recorded. If you get cameraed, it's because the car has the owner. So if you get cameraed, you get automatically, as the owner of the car, you get the points taken off your license. And you have to fill in a form and go, no, it was my fucking whatever. My dog. Right. And so there are so many. What the classic Australian story is, I've almost got all my points. My wife almost has it, because you start getting speeding fines. So you start signing them saying, no, it was my wife. And then your kid. And so you and your fucking wife and your daughter all have maximum points because you're a fuck going through that and then assigning it to them. Where in Estonia, none of that happens, and I'm really happy to pay a 12 euro fine.
Cheeky here now, though. They're starting to set up temporary speed cameras.
I saw one,
Just a car with a camera on the outside, and I've been caught. Well, I was doing 120 and a 110, but I never got any, fine.
They're very...
I think you're just allowed to do 10 over.
There's something going on there. Yeah. And not only that, here's what I think is fascinating about the Estonia judiciary... I'm not even using the correct English there. Judiciary system, right? The whole crime punishment system. Anytime I've been picked up by the cops speeding or whatever it might be, There's always a place. They're like, look, here's the form, and you got to fill out all the details. And then there's always a bit where they say, hey, tell us your explanation.
Yeah.
Like, it's always like, write your version of events. Or, like, when I was in the back of doing Talentato and I was 25 over, and I'm sitting in the back of the car, and I'm like you. I'm like, cool. I did the crime. I'll do the time. I'll pay the fine. I understand it's going to be a few hundred. You know, I'm not like, I've got a few hundred spare, but okay, fuck it. It is what it is. But when the police in Estonia pull you over, there's always a bit, and you can say, can you tell your reason? Can you explain why we shouldn't give you the maximum? Like, can you tell your side of the story? And every time, and you can write, like I was in the back of the cop car, like, oh, I'm very sorry. I haven't had one for a couple of years, except all those cameras that you don't know about. You know, whatever. You know, you can say your side, and the policeman goes like, all right, you wrote some stuff. Cool, I'll give you the minimum. There is no such system in Australia. No. There's no like, can you write your reason for why you might have done this?
There is just the system. Here's what you did. Here's what you pay.
Boom, you're done.
Done.
You're done.
You go into a computer somewhere and that's it.
And that's it. The cop does not want to hear your input in Ireland or in Australia. Exactly, yeah. Here, the police is like, tell me your side. What's your
police here are lovely. They're fucking
so
nice.
Fucking nice.
That night that I got thrown into the back of a van outside McDonald's, they were just, I was being a belligerent cunt. I think because I was very fucking, I was celebrating something that night. That's what we'll say. Anyway.
Who knows?
And because I was just being, I know in retrospect, I just being a fucking, oh jeez, Blade, look at the save. Sure, who cares? You've come more on that sheet than beers hit it anyway, I'd say. I was like, what is your badge number? Just being a fucking arsehole. And they were so fucking patient and nice. They did like drive unnecessarily fast around Talent to rough me up in the back of the van. Maybe. I don't know. But I was having mad crack inside the back of the van. I was tumbling. I was doing like an Inception where they're upside down, like stuck to the top. Like.
So let's break this down. Let's tell this for the people. So there was a night.
Yeah, I got drunk.
You got drunk.
Yeah. As you would do.
As we all might do. It's regular.
I was drinking with a load of people, friends of mine. Chris, my American friend Chris, was there. And I left and I ended up in Cuth. And I tell you one thing about Cuth.
Where?
Cuth is this little...
Where is it?
How do you not know about this place? It's this little, beautiful shithole in the old town. There's a fireplace in there and it's all old locals.
Cuth? Where? Where is that in Old Town?
It's on Lye Street. Just off Lye, which is... do you remember when we made the Top Gear thing and you were jumping up on the stairs? Right next to that, below Tompea. So you enter from Baltiam, you turn right, and then you go down. And it's in the old town, Lye, that big long street.
Oh, okay.
So it was in Cuth. And in Cuth, they don't believe in ice. And they also, I think they think when you order a double whiskey and Coke, I think they give you a triple because it was just pure whiskey. And I was in there with Rono and the usual suspects, and there was just lots of drinking being done. And then everyone peeled off, and I went to Levikas and drank more and played chess. And I was playing chess with the barman, and I was just like taking the knight and just putting him like wherever I wanted to. Checkmate, you cunt. So then after that, we went to this other bar. Anyway, just long story short, I ended up outside McDonald's at 5 o'clock, and I stuffed my McDonald's into my backpack and went to Shamrock, the bar next to it.
Oh, yeah.
And I was told, look, you can't bring McDonald's in. I was like, I don't have McDonald's. She says, I saw you try to bring McDonald's. I was all right, fair enough, I left. And then as I passed the doorman for McDonald's, I made some comment. I'm to blame, by the way. At the time, of course, I played my innocence, but it ended up with the doorman like judo throwing me to the ground. And hitting my head off that concrete curb outside McDonald's. I was disoriented. I was the one who called the police.
He called the police?
I did, because he fucking assaulted me. They showed up and took me away. And they just, took my information and said, we understand. Go get some sleep, buddy. They were just nice. They were like, come on, man, just go get some sleep.
So the police came And they've have worked out that the bouncer is in the right because ask Alexander Popov, the bouncer is always
Bouncers,
in the,
oh, even though he was in the wrong, he's in the right.
he judo
He's just
threw
in the right.
you and then he judo chopped you.
I deserved it. I fucking
and then
deserved it.
the
I
police
absolutely
come
deserved it.
and the police are like, all right, this guy. So they take you away. They put you in the van.
Put me in the van, drive me around. They try to figure out where I'm staying. I tell them where I'm staying. They bring me. I told them the wrong hotel because I was too drunk.
Did you deliberately tell them?
No,
wrong?
I didn't. No. I
just didn't know.
genuinely thought I was staying in Schnelle, but I was actually staying in some other place. But anyway, after all that was over, they said, look, we'll take your information. If you have a genuine complaint against that bouncer, come to the station tomorrow and we'll clear it up. He kept like putting his arm on my shoulder and saying, it's all right, man. Come on. Just go sleep it off and we'll
nice
talk
to
tomorrow. Here's my name. Here's my number. We'll talk it out tomorrow. It's fine. Look, buddy, this shit happens all the time. Don't worry about it.
So good. We'll do a podcast. It'll be fine.
And I'm just like, yeah, we'll see. I'll contact I didn't say I'll contact the embassy, but it was like that mindset, you know. Like, I'm in the right.
Flood.
And you're Frank Flood. Come down
Flood.
from
He's
on
like
high.
three ambassadors ago.
Come down like an eagle and pick up this man and take him away. But then, of course, I went to bed. I woke up the next morning and I went, I'm a fucking idiot. I deserve everything coming my way, so I'm just going to leave it alone and walk away. So.
Tremendous.
But,
You got hauled away. At least you didn't have to spend the night in the drunk tank or anything.
Nah, I wasn't. Because I didn't do nothing. I was just fucking sitting there,
Yeah, sure.
fucking half tearing
We'd have
up.
to get Alexander Popov on here to hear the bouncer's side of, how this is from their perspective.
This bouncer has been a problem in the past, though.
Oh, really?
Not to
How do
to
you
me.
know he's a problem in the past?
He's still there. He's probably there right now.
He's just a fucking bouncer. What's the problem?
I've seen him like manhandle people in the past. People who have like tried to start shit with me. That I'm like, ooh, that's a bit excessive. He just grabs people by the throat and throws them down.
You're the
But
bouncer
anyway,
at
look, he was in the
McDonald's,
right. He was in the
know-
right.
Yeah,
He was in the right. He was in the right. I was being a piece of shit, but the police were so nice to me to the point where every time now I drive, and everyone does this thing where when you're driving, you see the police, you just slow down because you're like, I'm a be. But now I'm like being extra super nice to them. If a police car lets me, I double blink him like, thanks, buddy. Cheers. Oh, you're the best, boys. Like, I have a lot of respect for the police and talent because they handle that the correct way. Yeah. If this was in Ireland, I would have ended up in the drunk tank. I probably would have been roughed up by the police as a victim of police brutality. Black Lives Matter, boys. But no, they were just nice.
He's wearing
and,
black. That's
and,
why
and
Black
the next
Lives
day I
Matter.
was like, you fucking. I should go to the police just to apologize, but I didn't.
Thank you. Just want to thank you guys.
There's any policemen, because there might be.
Maybe.
I'm
Some army
sorry.
guys have been listening to
You're
this.
fantastic. You're great. And if I end up in the back of your van again, just slow down a little bit. There's no need to be driving that erratically when you have a giant man in the back.
Boom.
I could damage your van, buddy, and then we'll see.
Boom. Out the back, you start rolling down the street as the van doors break open.
But sure, Lewis, this shit happens. This shit happens.
And well, look, I've never been in that situation, but nevertheless, it happens. It can
Don't
happen.
get me started on the situations you end up with in the police, you motherfucker.
I haven't. What have I?
Oh, totally fucking innocent, this fella.
With
Model citizen.
With the drugs and no, I'm good. I'm
He
good.
said it,
until
not
I-
me. He said it, not me.
I guess we gotta. What are we gonna do? 6:30. We gotta be there. Still some time. We'll be at Ookskoik. We should probably wrap this up soon.
Should we?
Yeah, wrap it up soon.
Sure.
Trying to do those shorter ones. It's good to do the shorter ones.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. What are we gonna get? Some food or something, and then
I gotta go meet my Finnish friend.
Oh,
Is there who's performing tonight in Nooks Creek?
I don't know. It's just open mic. So,
Any English people there?
what are you racist?
Well, he
What are
doesn't
you
speak. He
fucking
doesn't speak Estonian either.
Oh, okay. Your Finnish friend. Hello, I am Jussi from Finland.
Oh, he's Scottish.
Oh, he's
He
Scottish.
moved
Sorry,
to-
pardon
moved
me.
to
Oh,
Finland,
okay.
moved to
Oh,
Finland.
that's right. He's Scottish. Hey, I'm Scottish.
I met him in a fantastic pub in Edinburgh called Lebowski's, a big Lebowski themed bar
Okay.
at a benefit for a Scottish musician who killed himself. So he's a good lad.
Keeping it real.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Cool. So the next time Tim and I do an episode, it's going to be a themed one. It's just going to be us getting drunk and talking
It's
shit.
going to be Mystery Science Theater, Mr. T edition.
I discovered, not discovered, but there's this amazing Mr. T. You know, Mr. T, like, I pity the fool, Mr. T, right? Mr. T
There's
video,
only one Mr. T.
Yeah, from the 80s. Mr. T in the 80s made a motivational VHS tape, and it was called Be Somebody or Be Somebody's Fool. Right, and it's all just an hour and a half of Mr. T like, oh, yo, you fucking look after yourself, yo. You don't listen to nobody else. Those other kids, they don't like you, yo. You fucking be good. And it's just Mr. T giving hardcore motivational advice to scared little 80s kids. And it's an amazing VHS tape.
But it is a perfect slice of the 80s.
It is
just...
And you can catch it on YouTube. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to take little sound bites because the sound bites are amazing. And I was... A friend of mine, Oliver, introduced this to me in about the year 2000, but it's from the 80s. And we're going to take little sound bites, listen to the sound bites, and then talk about it because it's 80s straight up motivational from Mr. T. He's got the gold chains with the shorts on. He's like, yo, like my favorite one is like, he's got this whole line and this stuck with me. We should end the podcast on this, but my friend Oliver said, hey, you got to watch this video. It was like first YouTube ever. And he's like, yo, you got to watch this video. And Mr. T giving motivational advice. And his motivational advice, he's like, yo. So Tommy Hilfiger, Calvin Klein, they have a T-shirt. You wear their T-shirt. Does Calvin Klein wear your name on his T-shirt? No, he does not. So you know what you need to do? You need to tape over Calvin Klein's name. And you need to wear your own name on your shirt. And holy shit, that stuck with me. Like, no, you need to wear your own name on your shirt. I was like, yeah, why am I wearing Tommy Hilfiger?
Why are you wearing this fucking...
Why would you wear Calvin Klein? No, you wear your own name on your shirt. So we're going to do a whole episode breaking down Mr.
Have
T.
Ari on that as well. Ari would be fucking fantastic.
Oh, that'd be... Maybe we need to get a third person in for that.
We should, yeah.
We'll get a third person in for that.
Ari would be fantastic.
That's going to be the next one. So, yeah, cool. So let's get some feature.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Tim, for coming in.
And I do have my own podcast that I haven't uploaded in a while, but I might as well plug it anyway.
Tim.
I know. It's called the Crack Den podcast, and I'll get back to it. I was supposed to talk to an Irish guy who lives in... I was supposed to talk to two friends of mine in Ireland, but one of them said, I hate the sound of my own voice, so that got cancelled. But the Crack Den podcast on all good podcast and bad podcast platforms. You find me there, or be square, hey.
That's it. Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you soon.
Good night.